So now that we have a much clearer picture of what the 2022 games lineup will look like for the Nintendo Switch, I think it is time for fans to start shifting some of their focus towards the titles that will be coming in 2023, as in light of the most recent Nintendo Direct, we now have a pretty clear picture of what to expect for that year. And in today's video, I want to break down and discuss the official projects we already know to expect, as well as some unannounced ones that could absolutely put 2023 over the top and truly make this the year that Nintendo Switch fans have been waiting for. What's up, nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, today we are discussing the Nintendo Switch 2023 games lineup that both we know to expect, as well as some heavily rumored projects that could show up and truly put this year over the top for Switch fans. And now that we are getting closer to the end of 2022, we definitely know that this was a solid year for the Nintendo Switch, but I don't think it was the entire blowout year that some fans were hoping for, especially if you keep up with a lot of the leaks, news, and rumors online suggesting that we should have had multiple GameCube ports and remasters headed to the Switch, as well as games like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom first being slated for a 2022 release. We figured that would be the big holiday send-off for the year, the go-home game for Nintendo that they would bank all of their holiday sales around. And of course, earlier in the year, we got the announcement it would be moved to spring of 2023. Then most recently at the last Nintendo Direct, we got confirmation that that is indeed a May 12th, 2023 game. So actually further into spring probably than most fans were anticipating. And so depending on the type of gamer you are and what kind of genres you enjoy, you may or may not have felt like 2022 was a very solid year for the Switch. Now, to first discuss some of the projects we already know to expect that Nintendo did reveal to us at that September Direct to kick off 2023 strong, we have games like Fire Emblem Engage that was revealed at that Direct. Yes, it was the leaked Fire Emblem that we actually heard about due to names like Emily Rogers, and then actually seeing leaked screenshots of this game before it was officially confirmed from Nintendo. That was a very interesting concrete leak that happened that we don't typically see happen from the big N. But Fire Emblem Engage will be one to pay attention to if you are an RPG fan, and it is actually kicking off the year for Nintendo Switch releases, as it will be out January 20th, 2023. Now, next up on the list is none other than Kirby's return to Dreamland Deluxe, which, boy, has Kirby gotten a lot of love in recent months. It is his 30th anniversary, and Nintendo is absolutely going all out with numerous Kirby projects, but this is actually one that looks interesting to me because it was originally a Wii game, and I didn't play much of it. I may have booted it up once or twice on the Wii, but I definitely didn't go in depth, and so the fact that this is coming over to the Switch with better touched up visuals, although I think you can argue that it's more of just an up-res and not like a from the ground up retextured project, because it doesn't look that different from the original Nintendo Wii version, but I definitely think it looks cleaner and it's definitely running at a better resolution and most likely better frame rate. So one that I will definitely hop into and pay attention to. That is out February 24th, 2023, so likely Nintendo's big February game. But I will be curious to see whether or not Nintendo does many more of these basic port style scenarios where, yes, it's just a up-resed game in a modern resolution, widescreen support, and it's just brought over with other enhancements and functionality like that to the Switch. It's an easy low dollar budget port, and maybe you can do this with numerous Wii and GameCube era titles, one of which we will talk here briefly about in a moment that is heavily rumored. But I do hope that Nintendo does this with more classic games now that we are on such a successful console like the Nintendo Switch with 100+ million units sold. If you're not a fan of Kirby, however, though, the same month Octopath Traveler 2 will be out. So yes, for those classical SNES love letter style RPG era of gaming, this will be one to pay attention to for fans of that genre. And by all accounts, the HD 2D pixel art style I am personally in love with. I think these games look absolutely beautiful, and Octopath Traveler 2 being a project at all, I think was a surprise to a lot of fans, and we did get that also announced at the most recent Nintendo Direct. Now from there, we have to talk about the big game for 2023 that we know to expect right now. We are talking about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which of course is the sequel to Breath of the Wild that people have been waiting to play since 2019 when it was originally unveiled that this was in development from Nintendo. Yes, we knew they were going to make another Zelda game eventually. We didn't know if it would stick to the open world formula like they did with Breath of the Wild. We are actually going back to the same Hyrule, but just enhanced, obviously, with skies above, as well as most likely dungeons beneath and different underground areas as well. So this is going to be an exciting one for Zelda fans out there. I personally cannot wait for this game to release. It will absolutely be my 2022 most anticipated game. Outside of any fantastic, surprising announcements that could get me more hyped than this, I don't see Nintendo topping this one for me as far as my personal game of the year in 2023. And now that we know the title and the exact release date of May 12th, 2023, fans can finally put it on their calendars, get excited. Hopefully there's no more further delays, but with a hard commitment to a date like May 12th, I personally am in the camp that we will most likely see it launch at that date. And I think you definitely can make a debate and argument that we may even see it launch alongside of something like more powerful Switch hardware. Whether or not that happens will remain to be seen. But if there was ever a time window that Nintendo wanted to add in an extra tier above the OLED model for the current Nintendo Switch family of systems and make something more powerful, kind of new 3DS style, if you will, how they transition from the 3DS to new 3DS and kind of had the same roadmap of games, or library of games rather, that ran on both consoles, but new 3DS had some exclusives and it also just ran those existing 3DS games much better. That is what I'm hoping we will be getting alongside of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in 2023. Now, of course, as we get further into the year, we know less and less because at this point in time, Nintendo has yet to hold their February Nintendo Direct, and we will probably see a lot of those future updated 2023 game roadmap announcements, as well as the big thing being E3 2023 being back in full force, and we should hopefully expect a blowout June time Direct that will have tons of announcements for the back half of the year. But we do know of just a couple more projects that should be big marquee titles for Nintendo in 2023, starting with Pikmin 4 that was revealed at the September Direct. Whether or not this game makes it out in 2023 is debatable. That's what Nintendo said, but they also didn't show us any gameplay, only showing a brief cinematic look at the game, as well as a screenshot of the perspective, which when they said the screenshot, that immediately told me that they're probably not very far along if they didn't even want to show us in-game engine footage, but rather decided to screenshot a perspective shift of how you would look at this game in this world. So Pikmin 4 is an exciting prospect. I historically have not kept up with the Pikmin games over the years, so I will definitely let Nintendo sell me on trying to get into this franchise for the first time. And I do tend to believe that if this game is indeed out in 2023, it is more of a back half of the year or a later release on Nintendo's roadmap. Now from there, there's a big one that I want to spend just a little bit of time on. We are talking about Metroid Prime 4, which will be supposedly launching in 2023. That is according to Nintendo's official roadmap of software that they go over with investors when they are at their quarterly financial briefing. It is currently slated for a 2023, but it's to be determined in terms of a release date. And this is one that I could definitely see slipping into 2024. We haven't seen the game yet. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. We haven't seen anything other than the original splash screen that did confirm the project was real and in development, and then you had the whole history with the restart in 2019. So in 2017, we got the splash screen. It got scrapped and restarted. We don't know if from scratch or not, or all of the details, but it sounds like it was a massive hit the reset button. So I don't think you can say that much of those couple years from 2017 to 2019 were salvaged, and we don't know how far along Retro Studios is since they took over development of this project. And until we get any kind of glimpse at the gameplay or the world, I will not be personally convinced that we can for sure expect it anytime soon. One game I do think we can expect though while we wait for this is the Metroid Prime remaster. There are numerous names: Emily Rogers, Jeff Grubb. You may or may not like Jeff Grubb's recent track record with the entire Wind Waker Twilight Princess situation, but the reality is that games like GoldenEye, he has talked about ahead of time, numerous other projects. If you look at his track record as somebody who has leaked inside projects versus others, I do think you can make a case that he has some connections as a gaming journalist and has definitely talked about things ahead of their official reveal. But you have his name, Emily Rogers, and Nate the Hate, all claiming that yes indeed, Retro Studios has completed and finished a Metroid Prime 1 remaster that will be coming over to the Nintendo Switch, and the big question is when. Could this be a surprise end of the year Twitter announcement on 2022 and it's actually out this holiday season? Absolutely. But I also think that this is one of those games that Nintendo times right on when they launch it based off what the situation is with Metroid Prime 4's development, because they likely have an ideal time window on when they drop Prime 1 Remaster as part of the marketing hype train for Prime 4, because they want to make this a mainstay staple franchise and actually have it sell with the big boys of Nintendo, like your Marios, your Zeldas, Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, Splatoon, you name it. They want Metroid to be at that success level, and if they can get their 100+ million user base excited about this game with the correct type of marketing and a re-release to what made the original so incredible that still sits at a 97 on Metacritic, by the way. Like, Metroid Prime, the original, is an absolute masterpiece, and I definitely think we do see it come over to the Nintendo Switch in the ramp up for the release of Prime 4. Now, all the games we've already talked about definitely have me hyped as a Nintendo fan for 2023, especially knowing the fact that we will get more announcements as we get closer to that year, but we do have to briefly touch on some unannounced projects that could definitely make it into that year as well, and I'm talking about games like the heavily rumored Donkey Kong. It has been since 2014 that we have actually gotten a brand new Donkey Kong game from Retro Studios on the Wii U, known as Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and yes, that game was ported to the Switch, but we are still playing a 2014 game, and I definitely think it is time for DK to get some love. And there's been all of those rumors online suggesting that the same team that develops mainline 3D Mario games, or at least the same company, maybe a different branch that does it, is working on some kind of new direction for Donkey Kong, and it is most likely ditching the country moniker. And we don't know whether or not it's 2.5D, the side-scroller style Donkey Kong games, or a 3D adventure, but whatever Nintendo has planned for the big ape, I am ready for Donkey Kong to come back, because it is just time, and that would definitely be one that could put 2023 over the top for me personally. Now, from there, I do think there is a slight chance, due to us approaching a full 5 years from the last mainline 3D Mario game, that we do get a 3D Mario as a holiday title in 2023. They may repeat their 2017 strategy where they have a Zelda and a Mario game launch in the same year, just kind of spread out from each other. And I could definitely see that being the thing that generates additional holiday time sales for Nintendo. And I think it's time for Mario fans to get their next iteration. Whether or not it is Odyssey 2 or something entirely brand new will remain to be seen. I'll be curious to see if they do anything similar to what they did with Bowser's Fury, where it was more of a open zone layout and you could see the far distances and travel to them, and not have it in such a small sandbox style level like we've seen in past Mario games. So that's an exciting prospect potentially for 2023 as well. But I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, all your thoughts and theories on how you think we will see Nintendo handle their 2023 Nintendo Switch software lineup. Do you think we are getting a fully stacked year with multiple new releases? Do you think that Tears of the Kingdom is most likely the big game that will be focused on that year, and we shouldn't expect things like a Mario or Donkey Kong alongside of it? What do you think the status is with Metroid Prime 4 and its development, and does it come out in 2023? And bonus question, are you in the camp that we are likely to receive new, more powerful Nintendo Switch hardware of some kind in the calendar year 2023? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.